Chelsea football fans, this is Up Chelsea TV and I'm Ugo Amadi. Let's dive straight in. So in today's video we'll be talking about the preview to the Club World Cup game, Chelsea versus PSG. Now, the bookmakers, pundits, everyone, who's been watching football for the past, 12 months would have, or rather have, PSG as the outright favorite for this game. And as I do as well, I know I'm a Chelsea fan, and I should say Chelsea are the favorites, but no, Chelsea are not the favorites in this game. But however, I think Chelsea can beat, PSG in this Club World Cup final. Now, how do we go about doing that? I've done the video previously about this, but apparently everything I've said, not everything I've said, but something has happened in the past 2 to 3 days that sort of shaked up that lineup a bit, that changed it quite a bit. So I know what I'm talking about. Chukwunonso Madueke, Noni Madueke heading to Arsenal. In fact, according to reports, he's traveled to London for his medical, and once that's done, he probably will be an Arsenal player by the time the final comes around. The final is meant to be today, 8 p.m. BST. So I think that's similar time for people in West Africa and for people in the UK. So obviously, the main man for PSG, like in that video I said, Vitinha is the main guy in that midfield, because I know you have Dembele, who I think should win the Ballon d'Or this season. Every talk about Lamine Yamal winning the Ballon d'Or this season should be shelved. He's 17. He has 2 more decades even to win the Ballon d'Or is possible. At least he has a decade to win the Ballon d'Or. And let's face it, Moussa Dembele has been the best player this season. Let's just leave it at that. But Vitinha, for me, I think he's the most important player for PSG. His presence on the ball, his vision, when he has the ball, everything flows through him, from defense through him to the attack. And then, so I think he's one player Chelsea needs to keep an eye on. And for me, the strategy still remains the same. You have someone on him. That's why I want to see Chelsea go with 2 central defensive midfielders. And you say, Caicedo, I want you to be on Vitinha. Be like white on rice on Vitinha. Wherever he sleeps, you sleep. Wherever he runs to, if he goes to get a coffee, you go with him. Don't give him time on the ball, because it's really been crazy to me, the amount of time Vitinha has on the ball. Sometimes you see him, he traps the ball, he looks this way, he looks that way, and everyone is almost like they're scared of him. They stand there looking at him against Real Madrid, against Arsenal in the Champions League, even the Club World Cup, Real Madrid, like I've just mentioned. Everyone was just standing there watching him. Against Bayern, that sort of give you a blueprint on how to play against this tough PSG side. Sometimes they'll just stand there watching Vitinha be on the ball, turn around, look around. It's almost like people didn't quite see him as a threat. Well, he's on the ball, he's not going to really do much. Let's only concentrate on those people who can run, who have pace, like Kvaratskhelia, Bakola. Those are the ones we should look at where the ball is going to go to. But if you stop the ball, if you stop the pass at source, then the runners can run all day. They're not going to get the ball. So Caicedo, be on Vitinha. Make sure he doesn't have a good day. Now, don't go in aggressively, high challenges, high tackles. No, you're going to get yourself sent off. Just be aggressive. Stick with him wherever he goes on the pitch. That's for one. And then when you talk about pressing, it should be uniform press. We don't want to see Pedro Neto pressing and then maybe Liam Delap dropping a bit deep. No, uniform press, blanket press. Everyone should be pressing. And then, like I said in the previous video, I said Thomas Frank, the way Thomas Frank got Brentford to press. I know Chelsea, have sort of been victims of that press. That is how you press against the PSG. You just right at your back. Once you get the ball, do not allow those wingers to turn. Do not allow the fullback to turn. Be behind them. Be behind them for sure, 100%. So the likes of your Pedro Neto would have seen Noni Madueke, but obviously it's not in the team anymore. So, and maybe do we go with João Pedro in that wide role, which it's a role he can do, but it would have been more suited for me to play that number 9 role, to be the striker. So speaking about players now, I'll go to my own starting lineup. What I would I say want to see anymore? I'll say lineup that I would be going for if I was in Enzo Maresca's shoes. Um, Obviously, I wouldn't be going with Rob Sanchez. I would have gone with Mike Penders, but that's what we're going to see anyway. So let's just go. So Mike Penders, so Robert Sanchez, goalkeeper, and right back go Reece James, because I think he can do both the attacking and defensive sides of the game really, really well. I think slightly better than Malo Gusto. Don't get me wrong, Malo Gusto is pacey out of the two fullbacks, So maybe probably Reece James at right back, and then you have your Formito Santarabayo and Colwill as centre back pairing, because you need that old head, you need that leadership that I think Tosin brings, and people seem to take for granted. So I think he should start with Levi Colwill in the heart of the defense. And then, of course, at left back, he always is the one you go for. That's Marco Corella, one of the best left backs in the world, arguably the best left back in the world. And then, as well, when you go to midfield, I would have loved to go with a Caicedo and a Dario Esugo, so you balance up the efforts and the work rate, because in this game you don't want any slouches, you don't want any person who is a passenger in that midfield. But anyway, I think Enzo Maresca probably would go with an Enzo and a Caicedo. Maybe I would have even preferred, come to think of it, I would prefer Andre Santos and a Caicedo, because Andre Santos is the best of both worlds. He has the tenacity and he has the passing ability and the passing range, creativity that Enzo has. So for me, I would go with Andre Santos and Caicedo. But what we'll see come match day would be Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. Then we're talking about the 10 role. For me, there's no argument about that. It's Cole Palmer. Yeah, he's the one for that role. Cole Palmer for me plays there. And then when we're talking about the right wing role, right now there's just one choice. So we go with Pedro Neto. I think he's more suited to playing on the left, but that's what we're stuck with right now. So you go with Pedro Neto. And then on the left wing, now we have to make shift. No matter what you say, João Pedro isn't a winger, except I don't think this is going to happen, because it hasn't happened all through the tournament for whatever reason. Because I think some coaches get away with this. Tariq George could start and should be starting, but if this was Jose Mourinho, if this was the Conte, everyone would have been on their case. Oh, you're not giving youth a chance, you're not giving players from the academy a chance. But coaches like Maresca do it, coaches like Arteta do it. Oh, it's glossed over. No one even seems to want to talk about it. So Tariq George, I don't think he's going to start. I don't think Enzo Maresca would be that brave. So João Pedro will end up playing at left wing, and then Liam Delap will play as a striker. Except Jackson is still in the team. He can play there. I've called for him to play that left wing because he has all the natural abilities to play there. He's got the pace. He's got the skill. So Nicholas Jackson 1v1 the fullback all day, all game. I think it will be a torrid time for any fullback in the world, but I don't think he's going to play there. So possibly he could play there, and then João Pedro could be the number 9 in my opinion. But the way I see it, João Pedro probably will start out wide, and then you have Liam Delap as striker. So let me know your opinions about the starting lineup, what you would like to see, what changes would you like to make, who would you like to see start in the game. And Chelsea, no mistakes. You have to be fully focused and concentrated as well. And then speaking about concentration, there is a player that everyone raves about on the PSG side. He is Nuno Mendes. Everyone raves about him. Brilliant, it's pacey. He 1v1 very good, but he always loses concentration in the game. He always has 3 or 4 poor touches in the game. That if you're ready, if you're watchful, you can take advantage of it. But let's see if that will happen. And that's why I was hoping on Madueke would have still been in the team, because I think he was himself as a Nuno Mendes would have been a real battle, because they would have matched up athletically, they would have matched up physically. But Pedro Neto, while I think he may be able to match Nuno Mendes for pace but when it comes to that power, when it comes to that physicality, I don't think he can match Nuno Mendes. So anyways, let's see how it goes. What's your predicted scoreline? So for me, I'll just go with my Chelsea hat and say Chelsea win 2-1. And let me know your score predictions in the comment section. And we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well, stay blessed. Bye bye.